Porsche 911 Turbo S, still the best sports car? 711 PS, that's 701 horsepower, all-wheel drive, and a legacy forged over half a century as the supercar you can and should drive every day. This is the new hybridized Porsche 911 Turbo S. For decades, this car wasn't just a sports car. It was the sports car, the benchmark, the one everyone else was measured against, and the one that usually came out on top. It was the peak of usable performance, a finely honed tool from Stuttgart engineered to be faster, smarter, and more capable than anything else that dared share the road with it. But the world of high performance never stands still. The game has changed. A new breed of hybrid supercars has come out of Britain and Italy, bringing exotic carbon fiber tubs and otherworldly tech. At the same time, the purists' call for raw, unfiltered engagement has only gotten louder, championed by cars that put feel over figures. The rivals aren't just catching up anymore, they are attacking the throne from all sides. So we're putting the legend to the ultimate test. We're taking it from the daily city commute to the absolute limit on the racetrack to answer one simple question. Is the Porsche 911 Turbo S still the best all-around sports car money can buy? The legend and the challenge. To feel the weight of that question, you have to understand the Turbo's journey. It's a story of taming a monster and refining it into a masterpiece. The original 930 Turbo from the 1970s was a legend for a very different reason. They called it the Widowmaker, a brute that brought motorsport-derived turbocharging to the road with savage, unpredictable force. It was a car that demanded respect and punished anyone who wasn't ready. Just driving one quickly and surviving was a badge of honor. Over the next 5 decades, Porsche went on a mission of relentless refinement. With every generation, the Turbo got faster, but it also got smarter. All-wheel drive was added to tame the power, water cooling for more efficiency, and a suite of electronics that would have seemed like science fiction back in the 70s. The Turbo evolved from a wild beast into the definitive all-weather, all-purpose supercar. It became the car a surgeon could drive to the hospital on a rainy Tuesday, and then take to a track day on a sunny Saturday, dominating both without breaking a sweat. It was, and for many still is, the ultimate expression of automotive duality. But that very duality is now under attack. Today's automotive landscape is more specialized than ever. You've got the rise of the hybrid hyper-supercar like the McLaren Artura, which uses electricity not just for efficiency, but for blistering instant performance, all wrapped in a lightweight carbon fiber chassis that screams exotic. They challenge the Turbo S on technology and pure spectacle. Then you have the purists' champions, cars that fight against the digital tide. Even in Porsche's own family, the 911 GT3 offers a naturally aspirated engine that screams to 9,000 RPM, delivering a raw, analog driving experience that many say is the true soul of a sports car. It gives up some of the Turbo's everyday comfort for a level of engagement that's almost spiritual. And let's not forget the beautiful, brutish Grand Tourer, like the new Aston Martin Vantage, which tempts with classic front-engine, rear-drive charisma and a soulful V8 roar. This is the world the new 911 Turbo S enters. It's no longer enough to just be fast. It's no longer enough to just be usable. In 2025, to be the king, it has to be more. It has to prove its new, complex hybrid heart hasn't diluted its soul. It has to prove its staggering competence hasn't made it feel cold. And it has to prove that in a world of specialized assassins, the master of all trades is still the master. Period. Exterior walk-around. Before we even get to the hybrid power or the face-melting performance, you just have to look at the thing. From any angle, it's unmistakably a 911. It's a shape that's been burned into our collective consciousness for over 60 years. Up front, the standard 911 is an athlete. This is a heavyweight boxer in a tailored suit. The lower fascia is all business, dominated by 3 massive intakes. Inside are new active aero elements, vertical slats that open and close automatically. They open wide to feed the radiators, keeping that massively powerful engine cool. It's intelligence you can see. The rear arches are impossibly wide, swelling out to cover enormous rear tires, a full 325 section at the back for this generation. Just ahead of them are the signature turbo air intakes, gulping down cold air for the intercoolers. They're a hallmark of the model, a visual promise of the power within. The car's lines are clean and the surfaces are taut. There are no tacky wings bolted on as an afterthought. Everything is integrated. And then you get to the back. This is the business end. It's dominated by that signature adaptive rear wing. This isn't some fixed boy racer appendage. It's an active part of the car's aerodynamic profile. But as your speed climbs, or when you switch into Sport Plus, it rises and tilts, generating real downforce. Under heavy braking, it even acts as an air brake, flipping up to increase drag and stabilize the car. And beneath that, the rear bumper houses two massive oval tailpipes, part of a new titanium sports exhaust system that's standard and saves a meaningful 6.8 kilograms. For this new generation, Porsche has also added a new trim accent called Turbonite, a subtle, elegant gray finish on the badges. The whole vibe is one of contained aggression. It doesn't scream for attention like a Lamborghini. They see the wide hips, the center lock wheels, the yellow brake calipers peeking through, and they understand they're looking at the top of the 911 food chain. It looks expensive, it looks fast, but it also looks usable. Interior and practicality. So, can a supercar with over 700 horsepower really be a daily driver? Unlike a lot of mid-engined exotics that demand some gymnastics to get into, getting into the 911 is, well, normal. You just slide right into the driver's seat. And what a seat it is. They're deeply bolstered to hold you in place through high G corners, yet they're supremely comfortable for hours on end. You can adjust everything until it feels like the seat was molded just for you. Once you're in, you're greeted by a cabin that perfectly blends classic 911 cues with modern tech. Right in front of you is the iconic 5-dial instrument cluster. It's a brilliant nod to tradition, keeping the most important dial right in your line of sight. Flanking it are two configurable digital screens that can show you anything from navigation to G-force meters. The steering wheel is perfectly sized and uncluttered, with just the essentials, including that wonderful little drive mode selector dial. The center console is dominated by the Porsche Communication Management (PCM) infotainment screen. It's crisp, quick, and easy to use. Crucially, below it is a panel of physical toggle switches for key functions like climate and suspension. Porsche gets it. While touch screens are modern, some things just need the tactile, eyes-free certainty of a real switch. Trying to change the temperature on a bumpy road with a touch screen is a pain. Flicking a solid metal toggle switch is a pleasure. The material quality is, as you'd expect for a car starting north of $250,000, absolutely flawless. Supple leather, perfectly lacquered carbon fiber, and switchgear that clicks with satisfying precision. But the real test of a daily driver is practicality, and this is where the 911 Turbo S embarrasses almost every other supercar. And there are two cup holders that emerge from a cleverly hidden slot, robust enough for your morning coffee. Then, there are the rear seats. Now let's be real, no adult is getting comfortable back there. They give you a huge amount of interior storage that just doesn't exist in a two-seater like the McLaren Artura, and we haven't even mentioned the frunk. With the engine in the back, the front of the 911 houses a surprisingly deep luggage compartment. It'll easily swallow a couple of overnight bags or a week's worth of groceries. You could genuinely take this car on a week-long road trip for two without having to pack light. It proves that extreme performance doesn't have to kill comfort, quality, and usability. It doesn't force you to make compromises, and in the world of supercars, that might be the biggest luxury of all. Performance deep dive. Okay, let's get to the main event, the reason the Turbo S exists. For this new 992.2 generation, Porsche has introduced a new generation 3.6-liter flat-six engine. But the monumental shift in the turbo's history is the addition of the T-hybrid system. This is a performance hybrid, with tech derived directly from Porsche's Le Mans-winning 919 race car. Every single part of this system exists for one reason: to make the car faster. In a traditional turbo, you wait for exhaust gases to build up and spin a turbine, which causes turbo lag. Here, an electric motor is built into each turbo. The instant you touch the throttle, that motor spins the turbo up to speed immediately. The result: zero lag, instant throttle response. The second part is a compact electric motor integrated into the 8-speed PDK dual-clutch transmission, fed by a small, lightweight 1.9 kWh battery up front. It provides an extra surge of electric thrust to fill in any gaps and deliver a massive punch of torque right from a standstill. The combined system output is 711 PS or 701 horsepower, making this the most powerful production 911 ever built. That power is sent to all four wheels through Porsche's phenomenally smart PTM all-wheel drive system and that lightning-fast PDK gearbox. Numbers on a page are one thing, experiencing them is another. For the most violent display, you use launch control. Foot hard on the brake, floor the accelerator. The revs hold steady as the car tenses up. Then, release the brake. There's no wheel spin. Just a brutal forward surge that feels like you've been rear-ended by a freight train. Porsche claims 0-100 km/h in 2.5 seconds, which is about 2.4 seconds to 60 mph. Honestly, it feels even faster. 0 to 200 km/h or 124 mph takes just 8.4 seconds. What's truly remarkable isn't just that it can hit these numbers, but how it does it. It's the repeatability. You can do launch after launch, and the car will deliver the exact same mind-bending performance every single time. The engineering is so robust that this level of extreme performance is simply what it's designed to do all day long. This isn't just an engine, it's a weapon. City driving. After the violence of launch control, you might expect the 911 Turbo S to be a nightmare in town. Press the button for normal mode, the exhaust quiets down, the suspension softens, and the monster goes back in its cage. Driving the Turbo S on a city commute is shockingly easy. The adaptive suspension, or PASM, constantly adjusts to the road surface. It's firm, you always know you're in a serious sports car, but it's never harsh. Visibility is classic 911. The seating position is perfect, and you can see the tops of the front fenders, which makes placing the car incredibly easy. The view out the back is better than the glorified mail slots you get in many mid-engined rivals. Parking is simple with a suite of sensors and cameras. The new T-hybrid powertrain plays a huge role here. The electric motors provide instant torque fill, making the car feel incredibly smooth in stop-start traffic. The 8-speed PDK transmission is a masterpiece. In automatic, the shifts are imperceptible, slurring from one gear to the next with buttery smoothness. The car feels surprisingly agile. The rear axle steering, which turns the rear wheels slightly opposite the front at low speeds, makes the car feel much smaller than it is, pivoting around tight corners with an ease that belies its wide hips. But it's quiet enough to have a normal conversation or listen to the Burmester sound system. This is the everyday magic of the Turbo S. It sheds its supercar skin and becomes a perfectly usable, comfortable, and refined daily companion. It doesn't overheat in traffic. It doesn't punish your spine over bad pavement. It passes the daily driver test with flying colors, racetrack performance. This is the other side of the coin. We leave the city, arrive at the track, and with a twist of that little dial on the steering wheel, everything changes. We click past Sport and into Sport Plus. The transformation is immediate. The suspension firms up, the active aero deploys to its maximum attack position, and the PDK gets aggressive. The friendly daily driver is gone. The 701 horsepower weapon is now fully armed. The relentless acceleration continues all the way through the rev range, pulling ferociously toward that 200 mph top speed. But straight-line speed is a given. The real question is how this thing handles. It comes standard with Porsche's carbon ceramic brakes, and for this new generation, they are the largest ever fitted to a 911. The massive calipers bite down on the discs, shedding speed with a violence that matches the acceleration. Then you turn in. The steering is beautifully precise. You point the nose at the apex, and the car follows with zero hesitation. For a car that now weighs over 3,800 pounds, an increase of about 180 pounds over its predecessor due to the hybrid system, its agility is mind-boggling. The advanced chassis control and rear axle steering work in perfect harmony. The car feels like it's rotating right around your hips, pivoting towards the apex with an eagerness that defies its size. Mid-corner, the grip is almost incomprehensible. The car stays incredibly flat, with virtually no body roll. The massive tires claw at the tarmac, while the chassis communicates exactly what's happening underneath you. You can feel the forces building, giving you the confidence to push harder and harder. While a rear-wheel drive rival is carefully managing the throttle, in the Turbo S, you can get on the power absurdly, impossibly early. The intelligent all-wheel drive system shuffles torque in milliseconds, digging in and firing you out of the corner like you've been shot from a catapult. This brings us to the too-perfect critique. For years, some have argued that the Turbo S is so crushingly effective that it lacks the drama of its rivals. There's a kernel of truth to that. It isn't as raw or as shouty as its sibling, the 911 GT3. The Turbo S is more refined. It doesn't shout when it can get the same result with a firm, confident whisper. It comes from the confidence it inspires, letting you explore a level of performance that would be terrifying in other cars. The new T-hybrid system actually adds to the engagement, with the instant response from the e-turbos making the car feel more alive. The fact that Porsche GT legend Jürg Bergmeister lapped the Nürburgring a full 14 seconds faster in the new car than the old one is all the proof you need. That's not a small improvement. That's a monumental leap, proving the added weight is more than compensated for by the gains in power, response, and chassis dynamics. Context and comparison. No car exists in a vacuum, and the Turbo S is defined as much by its rivals as by its own spec sheet. This is a battle of philosophies. First, the in-house rival, the Porsche 911 GT3. If the Turbo S is the ultimate all-rounder, the GT3 is the ultimate purist's track toy. It uses a high-revving, naturally aspirated engine that is a masterpiece. On a track, the GT3 offers a more raw and arguably more rewarding experience for an expert driver. On the road, though, it's firmer, louder, and far less practical. The GT3 is a scalpel. The Turbo S is a high-tech multi-tool. Next, the British contender, the McLaren Artura. This is probably the Turbo S's closest philosophical rival. Like the Porsche, it's a hybrid supercar. But the McLaren's approach is different. It's built around an incredibly light carbon fiber monocoque, making it significantly lighter. Its hybrid V6 is potent, and its mid-engine layout gives it that classic supercar profile. The Artura is incredibly agile, but it falls short on usability. The interior lacks the practicality and luxurious feel of the 911, there's far less storage space, and the Porsche's all-wheel drive gives it a huge all-weather advantage. Finally, we have the Aston Martin Vantage. This is the traditionalist's choice, a classic front-engine, rear-drive GT with a thundering V8 and drop-dead gorgeous looks. The new Vantage is more aggressive and powerful than ever, a true British muscle car in a bespoke suit. But it can't match the Porsche for clinical precision or outright acceleration. The Vantage is a passionate, emotional choice. The Porsche is the ruthlessly logical one. Each of these rivals is a phenomenal car for a different kind of driver. The GT3 is for the track day purist. The Artura is for the tech-focused supercar fan. The Vantage is for the driver who values style and charisma. So, back to our question. In a world of incredible new rivals, is the Porsche 911 Turbo S still the best all-around sports car money can buy? After driving it in the city where it was as comfortable as a luxury sedan, And after unleashing its fury on the racetrack where it displayed a level of performance that borders on supernatural, the answer is yes. Absolutely. But that yes comes with a footnote. The Turbo S isn't necessarily the best car for everyone. If you just want the head-turning drama of a mid-engined exotic, the McLaren Artura might be more your speed. The genius of the 911 Turbo S is that it doesn't make you choose. It's the master of duality. Transform into a machine capable of lapping the Nürburgring 14 seconds faster than its legendary predecessor. It offers the security of all-wheel drive, the practicality of rear seats, and a real trunk, and a level of luxury that makes it a genuinely wonderful place to spend time. It's not perfect. It's heavier than its rivals and incredibly expensive. But what this new hybrid generation proves is that Porsche can add weight and complexity while simultaneously boosting speed, agility, and driver engagement. So, who is this car for? It's for the person who wants one car to do everything and to do it all at an unbelievable level. It's for the driver who appreciates ruthless engineering as its own form of art. The King has faced its challengers, adapted, and come out even stronger. The Porsche 911 Turbo S isn't just a sports car. It is a technological tour de force, a masterpiece of versatility, and it remains the greatest, most complete all-around sports car in the world. We've seen the design, sat in the impossibly high-quality interior, and just unleashed the fury of that new T-hybrid powertrain. The numbers are shocking, but they don't tell the whole story. If you're enjoying this look at one of the most legendary cars on the planet, you won't want to miss what's next. And let me know in the comments, based on what you've seen so far, is this the perfect recipe for the ultimate sports car? Now let's go for a drive.